Live from the Talking Joe studios,
it's Talking Joe with Chief and Ben. Hey, I'm the Chief. I'm joined by my buddy
Ben. How's it going, Chief? All good over here?
Yes, not too bad over here, my friend.
Yeah, it's Christmas, man. You hate Christmas, don't you?
No, don't hate it. I'm not a Scrooge, but I just don't get excited about it. It's just...
not even now you got a kid?
Not even now I've got a kid. She's asked for two things from Santa. That's it. She wants a Percy train from Thomas the Tank Engine to go on a train track, and she wants a big chocolate Santa, and that's all she wants.
Mate, that's easily taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, she's only... the missus is a minimalist in life in general. She considers a TV clutter. And she's extended that minimalism to the kid's bedroom, and the kid is only allowed one small box of toys. That's it. So occasionally, when too many toys get bought by grandparents, the kid's allowed to play with them for a couple of weeks, and the missus takes them to the charity shop.
Too much plastic is a crime.
Yep.
It's like Scandinavian kind of white walls minimalist.
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah, that's why we don't really get along. No,
does she like?
Because I like stuff, baby.
Does she like wooden toys? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of that as well. So we do lots of artsy, craftsy stuff, outdoorsy, wooden toys. She hasn't got too much plasticky stuff, but yeah, I love stuff, man. Everywhere.
Yeah, and stuff's fine as long as you got the place to put the stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can get on top of you. Does she listen? Does she listen?
No, she refuses to even read comics to the kid.
Right, okay.
No, she does not listen.
My wife she wants to listen, but she's not interested in the comic bit. She likes the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude, what have you been up to?
So, a couple of things. Very briefly, I'll touch on. I mentioned in the last episode I was going to read this comic book series called Mr. Miracle, which was a 12-issue mini-series, well, maxi-series, I guess, from DC Comics. It is about Mr. Miracle, who is a new god. This is a very, very brief. I won't hash out the whole details, but back in the 70s, Jack Kirby, big famous comic creator Jack Kirby, created this thing called Jack Kirby's Fourth World, the New Gods, and it was effectively two planets, one called New Genesis, where the ruler was High Father, and he was like this idyllic place, and then the other sister planet was called Apocalypse, where Darkseid, obviously a lot of people know Darkseid from the movies and stuff, and each of them had a son. Darkseid had a son called Orion, who he then gave to High Father. High Father had a son called Scott-Free, Mr. Miracle, who he gave to Dark. So they swapped kids effectively
to keep high concept
to keep a peace treaty. So effectively, they gave away their firstborn sons to their mortal enemy or immortal enemies. And this series, I've just finished it this morning. It's quite highbrow. It's very good. I mean, this was a 70s concept, and it was kind of a bit hokey and a bit, not silly, but kind of maybe silly. And this is, it's
dropping your phone down the toilet.
You don't need I haven't read a lot of New God stuff, but I'm aware of the main characters ish, and that's probably all it probably helps if you've got some back knowledge of it. But I think you'd like it actually. I think it's worth.
I don't know. I think it needs to be a bit more grounded.
No, but it's split into two. Scott Free and his wife Big Barda, who is also a new god, are living on Earth, trying to just live a normal, mundane life, if you like, and that's counterbalanced against the stuff where he's going to try and kill Darkseid and this genocide and wars between New Genesis and Apocalypse. It kind of flips between these two parallels, and it's good. It's really. He wrote this. The writer Tom King wrote a series for Marvel called The Vision, and that was a 12-issue series, which is also highly acclaimed.
Yeah, it is. I saw lots of people talking about
that. That aside,
nothing bad.
No, nothing
Usually
bad.
Bad stuff happens. To you.
No, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry about that. We'll get the other thing out of the way first. Then I'll do the bad. So I don't buy a lot of new video games. I subscribe to PlayStation Plus, which means every month they give you some free older games to download. And I downloaded this game yesterday called Onrush. It's a racing game, and it's...
Give me a year. Gonna need a year.
I think it's probably last year, maybe, or maybe even this year. Don't know.
What do you mean? It's not a retro game.
No. PlayStation 4.
Oh God. Okay. Cool.
And it's reaffirmed that the arcade racer is my favourite genre. Now, it's one of those.
So against type.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, because I just don't associate you with vehicles,
Right.
cars.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Never owned a car. Got a motorbike.
That's what I mean. Just no interest in cars,
No.
really.
No.
But you love to get your race on.
Tried
which is
to
fine.
play Gran Turismo back in the day. I'm going to say when I was at uni the first time round.
Too realistic?
In my first year, which I guess was 1996, it maybe came out on the PlayStation, and got into it for a bit, but then it was just too hardcore simulation. Just I need an outrun, I need a racer. So what I'm going to do is this Onrush game is not really about racing to a finish line. It's more about one team versus another team trying to beat each other up. So it's
a bit like Road Rash.
a bit like Road
Sort
Rash, but Road Rash you've got an end point. So
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I can't see I'm going to play this Onrush much more. I'll play it for a week or so and that'll be it, just a quick fix. But what it's done is I'm going to go back, and the games I want to play are Road Rash, I want to play Outruns, I want to play all the Burnouts, I want to play... No, maybe
Top
not.
Gear? Top Gear. Top Gear on the
nah.
SNES was a good racer.
Maybe. There's a game called Split Second Velocity on the Xbox 360, which is amazing.
Ooh, what about Gotham?
And my favourite of all time, this is probably in my top 5 games of all time, all genres, is Wipeout 2097 on the PlayStation.
PlayStation 2, was that come out?
That was the first one, no, PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay. What was a sequel to Wipeout, yeah?
Sequel to Wipeout, yeah.
Okay, what about the Kudos one? What's the one where it all revolves
Metropolis
around
Street
Kudos?
Racer.
Yeah, but it changed its name and it was called
Gotham.
Yeah. That was, I would say, that probably hit your sweet spot between
Yes.
Gran Turismo, because it wasn't as serious.
Yep.
And I like that.
Yeah,
That was
you're
good.
right. You're right. That was good.
But I don't think I'll ever play another racer again. Those years are no, not at home. It's too. I'm just not interested, really.
Right.
I mean, like games like Grand Theft Auto have, if you want that to be a racer, you can make that a racer if you want, because you're driving around and stuff. But I've been playing so much Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm basically a cowboy. Sometimes I catch myself talking like a cowboy.
I like it. You should do that for a day. You should do
I
that
just
for a day.
slip into it. The kids love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. It just really is good.
I
Just
can't
believe
play
the
it.
hype.
I can't play it on the basis that I'm not a massive fan of sandbox games. The only Grand Theft Auto's rubbish. No interest. The only one I did like actually was, in point of fact, the first Red Dead Redemption, which I did play to the finish. But I need linear gaming on the whole, because I need an ending. I don't want to be
but you've got to make it linear. These games...
I want to be told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
You're a robot, you're a cyborg.
Exactly.
That's fine.
I don't want to have to think for myself when I'm playing a video game. I just want to know what the goal is and get there.
Is that because you can't trust yourself to play them in a linear... Because if you want...
Yeah, it's a time sink.
Those games, you can make them such a straight line. If you played Red Dead Redemption and you just literally did each story component one after another, effectively they're level. You know what I mean? You can make it a linear game. You don't have to just go riding off into the distance.
I guess so. I mean, I like to get to the end of everything, apart from life. But that's why I don't really like TV series, box sets. No interest, because I've got to watch 6 seasons of 20 episodes per season. I just want a movie. I want 2 hours done. I don't want 120 hours of entertainment.
No, you don't want 20. The sweet spot, I would say, is 8. 8 or 10 is the kind of new thing on the Netflix. I like long form entertainment. I'm way more into TV shows than I am into films at the moment.
Right.
You can't get the character development in 2 hours in a film.
Yeah.
But hey, that's for another
anyway,
pod.
I'm just cracking on to the last point from this week just gone. If you would have followed us on Instagram, Talking Joe Comics, you'd have seen I put up some time-lapse videos of me building some Creo G.I. Joe sets. Now, if you didn't listen to the last episode, why not? Go back and listen to it. I briefly mentioned Creo as a counterpart to another famous block building company. And it's compatible with Lego, but what you don't see on the time-lapse videos is my absolute sheer frustration and almost jumping out the window. These bricks are so loosey-goosey. They don't snap together. And I'm building this Arashikage Ninja Dojo. I'm adding bits to the top and the whole thing crumbles. And I'm literally about to lose the plot. It probably didn't help that it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm drinking neat gin, and I'm absolutely
mother's ruin.
Halfway to getting wasted, and I'm trying to build this Creo together, and
Dude,
I almost lost the plot, man.
If you hit the forums up, you'll find out that Creo builders, they tend to build their Creo with a little pot of glue next to them. I'm serious, because it just doesn't,
Or swap the bricks out for actual Lego bricks.
Wow.
Yeah, you never thought of that, have you?
That's a good shout. They're very... could you actually do that?
Yeah,
Could you remake it out of... There's a few bits that
No, there's some unique stuff to Creo, but in the main, a lot of the bricks are similar.
Okay, fairs. So is that the bad thing that happened to you?
That's the bad thing that happened to me, yeah. Just want to point out as well, a new section of the show.
Errors on the show.
Mainly these will come from me. One of our eagle-eyed listeners... No, it wouldn't be eagle-eyed listener, would it? It'd be hawk-eyed listener.
Hearing-based reference.
Wait a minute. Remember Marshall Bravestar? Eyes of the hawk, speed of the puma, strength of the bear, ears of the wolf. Ears of the wolf. Wolf-eared listener out there, Mark Seddon, contacted the show and said we made 2 mess-ups, or I made 2 mess-ups on the last episode.
Pointing out mess-ups?
Firstly, when I gave you the 3 movies I'd watched and I asked you to put them in order, and I said, well done, you got 2 out of 3. Technically, that's impossible, apparently, to get 2 out of 3. You either get 0, 1 or 3. If you've got 2...
already I'm not happy about this.
If you've got 2, you've got 3. So, and the other thing I said was they didn't make any October Guard action figures when apparently they did.
Yeah, I actually saw one.
All right, yeah. So the two things why that slipped past me was either they didn't produce them in the UK, which would have gone past me, or they produced them after I stopped collecting and I wasn't aware of it. So
there you go. I'm not a big fan of that new section of the show. Errors.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. What have you been reading apart from that?
Yes,
DC comic.
Yes. Let's get into the main. We've been reading issues 9, 10, and 11 of Real American Hero. Yeah. After last week's episode, where finished on a bit of a downer, number 8. I think we both probably put it at the bottom of our ranking lists. We've now got another mixed-ish bag here of issues. So we started off with number 9. Front cover is Scarlet falling out of a Cobra helicopter, grabbing a Cobra trooper who's got the wrong end of a pistol and he's about to bean her on the head with it. Yeah.
I actually enjoyed this issue, Chief.
Really?
Yeah, but you're right. It was a mixed bag. It was like a good sandwich, but with a crap filling.
Well, this one is called The Diplomat. Interesting, not Larry Hama. It's written by Stephen Grant, pencils by Mike Vosberg. Now, Vosberg will be on as series artist for a while. Inks by Chick Stone, letters by Janice Chiang, and colours by Andy Yanchus.
Yeah, this was a bit of like a sort of espionage, Born Identity, kind of city-based romp.
Yeah, and I am generally not a fan of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of... I don't like these types of issues, but I didn't mind this one. You don't get too many of these, I don't think, in the coming issues.
No, well, interestingly, Stephen Grant, he did, another guest spot as writer in issue 20, and he was basically has said when he's writing other books that he's not associated with or other people's characters, it's purely, a work for hire job. And he did not. He was quoted as saying he hated G.I. Joe, and it's the epitome of inane. But he's like, I had to pay the rent, so he's got zero love for these characters, and he's just trying to, stay as true to the characters as he can. But he pretty much sends most of them up. He makes it it's a bit of a parody, and they're bit screw ups, and you could tell he wasn't doing anything for character development here. Or
yeah, it's basically who's the guy that is basically just hitting on Scarlet the whole issue.
Clutch, which he was doing in previous issues. So I guess
he really lays it on thick in this.
He's carried that over. So the basic,
she doesn't want to go with it.
No, the basic plot of this one is there's a Cobra assassination attempt in the works on some State Department diplomat, something to do with Persian Gulf nation of Al-Alawi. and some sort of political thing. And there's going to be an assassination, and the Joes send some people out to foil it effectively. And this is, without doubt, the most action-packed issue we've had so far. There's planes doing nosedives, there's car chases, there's holograms, there's beach shootouts.
Did you like the beach one where he's got the gun under the sand?
Yeah, so
it's basically
they're on the beach. Clutch is buried up to his neck. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Diplomat and Scarlet are just, what are they doing on the beach? Not sure. They're hiding from Cobra on the beach, and out of the sea come these frogmen.
Yeah, are they Cobra eels? I don't think they're quite Cobra eels yet, are they?
They're called out as just frogmen.
What's so good is like, because you don't know what's going on in this part of the issue, they pop out of the water and they're like, "Ooh, machine guns! Yeah. We can't deal with this," and they just go back in.
Yeah. Clutch has popped out of the sand. He's buried his machine gun in the sand with him, and he's just spraying some bullets. And they're like, "Just get out of here!" Even though they got some sort of guns themselves or harpoons or whatever.
Yeah, we're not prepared for this.
They
explain that later, though.
Explain that later. Yeah. So then they get a car and they bugger off, and then meanwhile Stalker's got a lead on something, and he goes. He's in London, and he goes to see some weaponsmith or something like that. Some English dude. He's full on suited with a bowler hat. And
he's a big old stereotype, isn't he?
Well, there's a bit here which there's a caption which says, "After a lunch of chips and brashers." Yeah. What's brashers?
I don't even know what brashers are.
No. Owner Derek Sutherland returns to his office, and that's where, his office is bugged by Cobra Commander. He's given Stalker, you need to go to Amsterdam.
It's globetrotting, this, isn't it?
Very much globetrotting. Cut back to Scarlet and the Diplomat dude, and they're being chased. She's chucking grenades out. They get to an airfield, jump on the airplane. Of course, the pilot's a Cobra pilot in disguise.
Certainly is.
He kills Scarlet Bay, whatever. She smashes him in the chops with a satchel, knocks him out. Plane goes into a nosedive. Clutch has to then do an emergency landing. Meanwhile, back in Amsterdam, Scarlet's in some hotel room, and of course the receptionist, where he goes in, she's Cobra as well.
Yeah. When's the turn? Yeah, when the Diplomat they've actually got.
Oh, yes, I didn't actually see that coming. So, yeah, more shootouts, they're being chased.
Did you not? But she kept saying, what's going on? The Cobra, it's as if they're half-hearted.
Yeah, and as it turns out, the Diplomat is actually the assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
And they are delivering him to his destination.
Yes. And, but he laid his cards out too early there, I felt. He was still undercover in disguise, and he didn't need to. He just then decides to whip out a gun and,
Yeah. I didn't mind this issue, to be fair. You had some issues with it.
Yeah, we get to the end, and then Scarlet jumps in through the window and foils the assassination. I don't know. It's just crazy action, all over the place. In this first Mike Vosberg issue, I'm not overly keen on the way he draws the Cobra troops. He draws them absolutely stacked. They're roided to the max.
Yeah,
he's a superhero artist, and it's almost like the fight scenes as well. When someone's punching someone towards the camera, they're splayed out massively. It's very unreal. It's very superhero style fight scenes and superhero style art. Now he'll actually tone that down in the coming issues, which is nice. But I just felt it was very much a fill-in issue. A few things did carry over.
Was, yeah.
Like the Stalker Clutch trying to hit on her. Sorry, not Stalker, Scarlet and Clutch, and Snake Eyes is actually one of the main people in this issue on the team, but he actually doesn't do anything. He's in about 3 panels.
Yeah,
and you'd be forgiven for thinking, oh yeah, he was actually part of that storyline.
Yeah.
But doesn't do anything. So
he gets a bit more to do in the next issue.
So the next issue is issue 10, which
couldn't stand this one, buddy.
A nice little town like ours.
Could not stand it because it's way too similar to the one we just had.
For
me,
I don't know. I mean, this
look,
one.
The Snake Eyes stuff is interesting. It's fine, but not good enough to make me like the issue.
Okay, so this is Larry Harmer's back on as scripting, Mike Vosberg's penciling, Chick Stone is inking, Joe Rosen's lettering, and Christy Shield is the colorist. Now, when we wait a minute. Let's go back to number 9. What's your Yo-Joe Colas?
Ooh, I'll give that.
Or do you want to do it all we do the ranking all at the end?
No, I liked it, but I will give it a 6, a high 6.
A high 6. So currently on a 6, you have got issue 5, Tanks for the Memories, followed by issue 1, Operation Lady Doomsday, followed by issue 4, Operation Wingfield.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're going to
about
need
right.
to slot it in. Where's it going on the rankings, though?
I would probably say it's the best out of all of those.
Which puts it for you as the second best storyline you've had.
Well, not for long.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Okay.
What was the second? What was this issue? What was it? 9, 10?
This is number 10 now. A nice little town like ours. So this is.
Did not
this,
like.
This is the basis of this one is there's a suspected Cobra stronghold in Midtown Manhattan. Let's send in some troops, some on the roof of this building, some down low, to sniff out what this base is all about.
Yeah. So you does it? It starts right in it, doesn't it?
Starts right in it.
They're fighting on the rooftop.
You've got Snake Eyes, Scarlet, and Zap are the insertion team on the top. Zap is highlighted out as a demolitions expert, although I think Larry's trying to flesh out a bit of the specialties of each of the characters now. I mean, Zap doesn't really appear that much going forward, but he's a demo expert.
Let me just stop you there. There's just one confusing bit, one of the panels with that ground team.
Yep.
Is that the one that Zap's in?
No, he's on the roof with...
Okay, who's in the ground team in the sewers?
Ground team is...
Flash?
You've got Stalker, Flash, and Breaker. Now, you're going to say there's a panel where it looks like Flash is...
There's 2 Flashes.
There's 2 Flashes, because he's got the distinctive red
so what's going on
chest
there?
plate and red knee pads. Yeah, it's just an artist mess-up.
Yeah, okay, it is that. Okay,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So you got the team on the ground, etc. Team at the top. It's more of that Cobra Commander, everything's going as I planned it. There's a hatch door opens, they fall into some completely steel enclosed box.
They swipe their weapons.
As it turns out, that box is actually part of some crazy aircraft which launches out the roof of the building and flies off.
Did not like.
So was their plan all along, Cobra, to lure Joes into this trap? I think it was.
Yeah, as soon as the building took off, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Those issues. Look, I guess the main takeaway from this issue is the Snake Eyes. When he gets captured.
This how we rank this one is going to be what do we place on historical relevance and historical events to the G.I. Joe mythos, because this is a big one, effectively the biggest yet by far, because this has got this has got Dr. Venom. It's got the brainwave scanner. It's got a possible Snake Eyes origin. It's got Springfield origin. It's got Cobra Commander's pyramid schemes, which come up a lot later. It's got... I don't know if we want to do spoilers or not on this.
No, not really.
Okay.
It would be spoiling it for me.
Okay, because there's another big thing which you perhaps haven't spotted yet, which will come back later.
Yeah, just disappointed that all the setup was from such a bad issue.
I mean, they get captured, the Joes, and... there's a scene where Snake Eyes his face is in shadow. He's hooked up to some crazy technological machine. There's a wall full of computers and stuff, and this is where Dr. Venom pops up. Now he comes on a bit later. Probably, I'm not even sure if you're aware of him, because when you started reading originally, I don't even know if Dr. Venom was there.
No, that's the thing. I was like, who's this guy? I want Mindbender.
He's the originator. Yeah, he's the originator
Mindbender?
of the brainwave scanner. And they've got Snake Eyes hooked up. And this is, I'm going to just read out what Venom says, because this is his plan. He's talking to Baroness and Cobra Commander, and he says... I shall endeavour to explain this procedure as simply as possible, Cobra Commander. The electrodes attached to Snake Eyes' head are recording his brainwave reaction to the visual image on the TV monitor. In this case, it is an apple. The computer will continue to flash thousands of images and record their corresponding brainwave signature until it has amassed a personalised vocabulary of the subject's thinking patterns reduced to digitised... Then he gets cut off by Cobra Commander.
I like that bit, because he's not interested. No, he just wants results.
What do we gain from this, Dr. Venom? Very soon our image vocabulary will be complete. Then we can reverse the process. The computer will be able to read the subject's thoughts, enhance them, and project them as a visual image on the TV monitor. By peering into Snake Eyes' memory, we shall be able to ascertain the exact location of the G.I. Joe headquarters.
Yeah.
So basically, he's got some sort of brain memory reading device. Very 80s.
Yeah.
And there's weird bits here where the Joes have had some sort of hallucinogenic drug pumped into their prison cell, and Scarlet's seeing snakes and turtles and gargoyles, and it's all a bit weird. And there's a kid. There's a kid in the cell as well. You're like, why is the kid in the prison? And then they get brought some water, and he's like, no, don't drink that water. It's drugged. We've got to hold this water up to the light bulb, and that will cook out all the poisons.
Yeah, I liked it when one of them, I think, who thinks that they've turtled themselves? And That's good. But Snake Eyes is basically trying to suppress.
Yeah, and
he's happy to give them all. He's happy to give them his, some bits of his background.
Yeah, so that's where you get a bit of origin. You see, looks like Vietnam, and there's a helicopter crash, and that's potentially where he got disfigured. And like Venom says, he's dredging up these memories to block out, the location of the G.I. Joe base.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically the kid and Scarlet and the other, is it? I don't know who it is actually. Yeah, it must be Zap, because he was on the top. They get the Cobras in to the cell, and then get an escape plan going. And that's where the kid explains what's happened to this town. And basically they said some people came in with this pyramid scheme of selling cleaning products, and soon the whole town was on board. And this comes back big time later as part of Cobra Commander's early plan. And I kind of like this bit.
What, with all the kids in the arcade, and they're all like junior officers and stuff.
So yeah, it's kind of the beginnings of how Cobra takes over town by town, and Springfield is there. It's like a sleeper cell of everyone in Springfield is actually a covert Cobra undercover agent. And there is a bit of a silly bit. They go through an arcade, the kid and Zap and Scarlet, and immediately the kid's like, "What are these adults doing here? We don't recognise them."
And he's in some stupid gun.
He's in some it looks like it's supposed to be an arcade game where you're in a laser cannon, but it turns out to be a real laser cannon. So I don't know what they were doing there or why they were there.
The actual storyline of that is fine. I just thought the execution was really weak.
Yeah. And Snake Eyes has put himself into some Zen trance to appear.
He lowers his heart rate, ninja style.
Appear like he's dead, ninja
Big
style.
Big fan of that. Big fan.
So they unstrap him. As soon as they unstrap him from the brainwave scanner, he then busts loose. There's some more superhero style panels of him punching people, in crazy angles and. Yeah,
I remember thinking a lot in the schoolyard when we used to talk about ninjas. The main thing you'd say was, they can actually stop their heart rate.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes goes
true.
There.
Must be true. It's in G.I. Joe. And they escape. They all escape, but except the kid wants to stay because that's where his family is, and he's going to try and bust them out, whatever. And the Joes seem happy with that. Oh yeah, kid, you fend for yourself. We'll see you later. And they all bugger off.
I didn't like that kid.
Right. Okay.
No. Not.
Interesting is all I'm saying.
I just didn't. Do you know what? This was my worst issue so far, buddy.
Okay.
For me,
worst issue so far.
I just didn't enjoy it at all.
Okay.
I did not, because I needed, if I was going to have the one that we just had, I needed to, it actually felt sort of similar to me.
Okay, let's the worst you've got so far, ranking at number 8, is issue 8, codename Sea Strike, which you gave 4 out of 10.
Yeah, this is probably, I'd give this a 4 as well, but a lower 4 than that.
Holy moly. Right.
Dude, it was, I just had no interest. Even the stuff with Snake Eyes, I'm sure they're going to go into that more in the future anyway.
Okay.
But,
I don't think I gave my ranking for number 9, The Diplomat.
Give it to me.
You've got it second best. I'm possibly going to put it worst.
Wow.
I'm putting it as a worst issue yet.
Okay.
And that is a low 5.
Low 5. What are you giving this?
And this one, A Nice Little Town Like Ours, which you've put bottom. I'm going to give it a high 6 or a low 7.
Merlin's beard.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's going to get onto the 7s.
I think because of historical relevance, it goes up high, but because of that stupid, silly spacecraft in the building and the hallucinogenic scene, gargles and stuff, I'm going to actually give it a high 6 or a 6. And this is tough. I'm probably going to... Is it better than the October Guard one, double-parter?
Well, not for me, but...
No, I don't think it is. So in that case, I'm putting it just below that, which will put it as ranked number 6 out of 9 for me.
Okay.
So pop that
Now,
in there.
what's the issue number that we're moving on to now?
So now we've got issue number 11, and I suspect that you will probably have this one as the best issue we've read so far.
This is a G.I. Joe comic.
This is
we
the
got
stuff,
right
isn't
here.
it? Amazing cover.
This
Cover. Doc.
It's G.I. Joe.
Doc and Snowjob on the Battle Bear, busting down.
You got Cobra Gliders.
Busting down a hill. Cobra Glider. It's a
That toy?
It's a great cover. Written by Larry Hama. Mike Vosberg again pencils. John D'Agostino is the inker. Rick Parker is the letterer, and Christy Shield is the colorist. Now, first thing I'm going to point out is I thought that last issue the inks were a bit heavy on my copy. Anyway, here new ink, different inker, and Vosberg's art looks so much better. And this goes to show how much an inker can add or take away from the art, because the art here looks very different to the last issue, but it's the same artist but with a different inker. It's very clean.
That's what I thought.
And he's toned down the kind of over muscle bound stuff, and it's just crisp and really nice. So get a good inker that works well with your style.
I'm glad you said that, because I was like, something has changed visually here, because this is just popping.
Yeah. I mean, this is called the Pipeline Ploy. And effectively, quick synopsis is there's Cobra activity on an Alaskan pipeline. Send in the Joes to check it out. And that first page is full on. Larry Hama's on. He's gone full on military scripting. He's talking about LZs and smoke recognition and fire suppression. It's basically wild.
So good.
New Joes straight away. Wild Bill's flying the chopper in with Frostbite and Doc. There's carnage. There's smoke coming out. There's
Snowjob, isn't it?
Yeah, who did I say?
Frostbite.
Sorry. Frostbite is the driver of the Snowcat, possibly?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, yes, Snowjob. Yeah, straight in the action, he's flying in. Love it.
It's just awesome. You got Gung Ho, you got Doc, then later on you get Airborne.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happened? All of a sudden, it's the G.I. Joe that I remember.
Yeah.
And you got Gung Ho running around with his top off, hardcore.
And there's immediately a bit of beef between Rock and Roll and Gung Ho.
Yeah, because he's basically in a vest.
Yeah, well, he's a. I don't know if Rock and Roll is just regular army or what, but Gung Ho's a Marine.
Yeah, which is an elite unit, but they don't seem to respect that.
No.
Yeah. But that's why I actually had a question I wanted to ask you. In the kind of world of G.I. Joe, do you think the regular army know about G.I. Joe and that's something that they aspire to? Or are they just top secret?
I think they do, because later on you see some... Well, possibly, maybe not. Later on you do see some recruits coming from the Navy or the Army or the Paras. I think you get plucked out, and there's some... Yeah, but whether or not you know where you're going and what force you're going into, I'm not sure.
Gung Ho is great, like a New Orleans kind of deep South Cajun. He's a cook, isn't he?
Rock and Roll's a cook, not
Gumbo.
Rock and Roll. Roadblock, sorry.
Yeah, Gung Ho. It's just great to see some new characters in these issues. This just made me smile. This whole issue, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Do you know what? It was a really nice surprise, because I wasn't expecting to get Wild Bill.
No.
Because just on the cover, I thought, okay, we're going to get
Doc and Snowjob.
Yeah, but it kept on coming. I was like, wow, they're really giving us some, G.I. Joe staples here.
Yeah, Snowjob doesn't really do much except for he sets up Gung Ho for a fall, because he promises to get Gung Ho a date with Rock and Roll sister, who apparently is a model.
That's a dark kind of That's
and we find out later on that is a no-go.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
But
now.
yeah, the Cobras bug out. Joe's managed to grab one of the damaged Hiss tanks and the Battle Bear.
Yeah, dude, we get Hiss tanks.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Doc is there patching up people's injuries. There's a great panel where he goes to pull Snake Eye's mask off to check out his injuries. And there's a great panel where Snake Eyes whoops the Uzi round into Doc's face, and he's like, "Whoa, okay, I'll leave it alone."
Yeah, I liked all the sort of banter and tension between the new guys and the old guys.
Yeah.
So good, because at least I didn't know how they. I was like, they've got a lot of characters to introduce, in this comic. How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
But they do it in a very real way.
Yeah,
they don't just show up know each other.
It's not, and it's not just loads of exposition. It's just these characters are chucked into the firefight, and you learn about them.
They don't know each other
during the action, exactly. And then, of course, we get on the other side, we get a mysterious villain who isn't actually. Obviously, we all know who he is because we can tell by the outfit, etc. But back in the day, it's kind of like if I could watch Empire Strikes Back again and not know. I am your father, that would probably be the greatest moment of my life. So if someone wants to wipe Empire Strikes Back from my memory somehow, and I can watch that for the first time again, I can't. Even the birth of my kid won't be as good as watching that. So, and here though, we know it's Destro, but back in the day, you wouldn't. It was just a guy.
Yeah.
Every scene is a half shot or a 3/4 shot, or his face is in shadow. So
and I thought it was going to build to a reveal, and I thought it was so awesome that they had the kind of force. I was like, wow, they're just going to keep it going.
And they don't even name
I just thought
him.
the last panel, I was fully expecting a big reveal, and I was like, this is awesome.
And they don't even name. They just keep calling him the Specialist.
Yeah, it was very cool.
So
it was very well done.
They've brought the Specialist in to.
Who already knows Baroness.
He already knows Baroness, exactly, and that's going to come back later as well. Larry Hama's sowing the seeds, kind of like Chris Claremont did in the 80s with the X-Men, where he sowed loads of subplots that took place over hundreds of issues. Hama's doing the same. He's sowing...
He's planting seeds.
Planting the seeds, baby, and watch that fruit grow.
Yeah. Is this just? I could not read the next panels fast enough. Because it basically, I was like, okay, I can really identify with this, and it's so. Is what I remember reading.
I know you remember. I know you mentioned that the October Guard one was very cinematic. This is even more so for me. This is
another level.
Scene by scene, the Joes are then staking out from a distance, and every panel flows to the next. The page flows to the next. It's
just the setup of the pipeline, the kind of cat and mouse. It was just very cool.
It's very, very movie-ish, and. They spy the Cobras at the next pipeline way station. Pumping station, and they're putting some sort of canisters down into the pipe. They don't, just what is it you carry around in double-walled stainless steel canisters? So they don't know, what something fishy's going on.
I like the way the Cobra they're retreating. They send the hiss tanks off first, then the troopers stay, and then they go. It was just very cool.
And then rock and roll, maybe a bit stupid. They get to the pumping station. He just kicks the door down and just literally sprays the whole room with bullets. And
he is called Rock and Roll.
He is called Rock and Roll. And he obviously accidentally caps one of the canisters, and it turns out that it's some sort of poison gas or plague toxin.
Yeah,
it's a plague toxin, and they've only got 6 hours left to live, and the only antidote is carried by this Specialist.
Yeah, who's off on the other station.
He's off on the other pumping station.
Yeah. So what happens there? Then who's in that forward team at that other pumping station? Is it Snake Eyes? No, it's Doc. It's Doc, isn't it? Because Doc has a scrap with Destro.
Doc's there with Rock and Roll and that lot.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Scarlet and Gung Ho, and then Snake Eyes goes to assault the hiss tank one. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, Doc is there. Yeah, sorry, Doc, Snake Eyes, Snowjob, Gung Ho. They all go off on the Battle Bear. Cobra's got some RPGs.
Gung Ho kind of shows his mettle, doesn't he, by going hand to hand with that little rocket launcher squad.
That's it.
Sort of proves his worth.
Breaker calls in to HQ and basically saying, look, we need reinforcements and we need quarantine. Cut over to your favourite General Flag inside with sunnies on, standard. And he's like, he shows he's a company man. We'll give you the reinforcements. We ain't quarantining nothing. We ain't got the time or the personnel to do that. Lovely scene next of Cobra Commander, fists clenched, head back, like roaring in laughter.
He's listening in.
Yeah, he's bugged it. He's bugged the G.I. Joe base. He says, great, eavesdropping has become child's play since we stole the program for the G.I. Joe Crypto Scrambler. Good thing to have.
Yeah, then where do we get to?
Then we get new Joe on the scene, like you mentioned earlier, Airborne.
Then oh my god, then it just goes up another level. You get Airborne coming in. First you get Cobra on the gliders.
Cobra on the gliders attacking Snake,
awesome
Doc
toy.
and Snowjob on the Battle Bear.
Then Airborne drops in.
Airborne's drop lifted in by Wild Bill. He starts shooting them up.
Now, what did Wild Bill come with? The toy? Dragonfly.
Yeah.
What a toy that was.
That was an Apache.
Apache.
Yeah. But here in this depiction, it's not an Apache.
No, not
it's
quite
just
yet.
Like
there yet.
Standard military. I don't know what it is.
It was lift ticket was in the Tomahawk.
The Tomahawk. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Tomahawk.
Chinook.
Yeah. A version
Double.
of
I had that toy.
You did have that toy. It was a good one.
Holy
it was a big one.
smoke.
It was a big one.
Those were the good times.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I like it.
Airborne is a cool character.
He's a good character.
I remember loving
because
him.
also he's Native American. So here already, Harmer's putting in some African American characters, some Native American characters, and actually
diverse.
Actually, some dude. He goes, "Howdy, call me Airborne. Real name's Talltree, Franklin E." And and Snowjob goes, "Talltree, that an Indian name?" And he goes, "No, it's Native American. You chump."
Yeah, love that. He actually said, no, he does say chump.
No, he doesn't. He says, no, it's Native American.
Someone says chump.
He says, what kind of name is Snake Eyes? And he says, don't ask. But he's already calling him out. He says, don't be racist, you scumbag. I'm Native American.
Forward thinking, G.I. Joe.
Larry Harmer on it.
Yeah.
Well, he's Asian American, Larry Harmer.
Again, so, I couldn't believe what I was getting. I was like, oh, got another new character.
Another new character. Gung Ho. This is where the bit where you said he pops out and he. Strange one here. He's got a shotgun. There's 3 cobras over the hill, and he decides
like a baseball bat,
to whip it, turn it around in his hands, and clocks them upside the head.
Yeah, but he's flexing, isn't he?
He's flexing. Oh, he's flexing. Yeah, look at that. He's toned.
Yeah. I had Gung Ho figure. He's sort of swamp-based Cajun guy. Love it.
Yeah, he was good.
Absolutely love it.
Good. Did he? Was his hat built in, or was it to come off? No, it was.
No,
it was built onto the figure.
Was built in, my friend.
Yeah,
very much built in. Yeah.
So then they're saying they're going to. They go to the next pumping station, and the staff members there. We've got a probe. We're going to pop this probe down into the pipeline, and that will show us, where the plague toxin is, or do something like that. But it's actually a ruse. Those mothers in the pumping station are actually Cobra, and it's plutonium that they're chucking down the pipeline.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's bloody plutonium. They're going nuclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so Destro's lurking in the shadows there, isn't he?
Destro's lurking in the shadows. Oh, this is where Snake Eyes goes solo. Zap pops in and basically is about to tell Wild Bill, look, these dudes are... They've twigged now that they're the crew of the pumping station are Cobras. Zap pops in to tell him. One of the... this is purely, to highlight Wild Bill's weapon of choice, because one of the Cobra troops pops out a 6-shooter... and starts shooting, and then you get a close-up of Wild Bill firing his 6-shooter because he's obviously a cowboy. He wears a cowboy hat. He's got a tash. So I don't know why the Cobra guy had to have a 6-shooter, an old-fashioned revolver.
Weapon of choice.
Yeah. But Wild Bill uses old-style, one hand on the trigger, one hand flicking the hammer back.
Yeah. It's good to see Wild Bill on the deck, in the trenches.
Yep.
Yeah, I just associate him in the chopper. But, then... oh no, that's it. Doesn't someone throw a snowball?
That's it. Yeah.
Destro.
Doc pops in. The Geneva Convention says I can't fire a weapon, but it don't say anything about a snowball. So he chucks a snowball at Destro's gun hand, knocks the gun out, and then they have a little scrap. He manages to get the what he thinks is the antidote, doesn't he? Yes, correct. Oh yeah, there's a scrap, and he pulled off the antidote, didn't he, in the scrap with Destro?
Yeah, and then there's there's a really great bit where Destro goes out the window and he's got these wrist rockets.
Yeah, so he fires one at the Battle Bear to destroy it.
One of them is successful.
And then the other one he tries to fire at the chopper to stop Joe's firing. And he goes, blast, a dud.
A dud?
Love it.
He's only got 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them it's just the visualisation of it pinging off is so comedy.
He needs to go back to his weapons manufacturing. In fact, he owns a weapons manufacturing firm, Mars. He needs to go back to them guys and get that...
He's like, oh, well, and then he goes. And then I thought, wow, no reveal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, they've got the antidote, and he's administering it, to... he says he's going to trade, and Doc's like, I'll trade it to the Cobra Troopers. You got the plutonium, I'll give you the antidote, otherwise you're going to die along with us. You give us the plutonium.
Yeah, and they do that.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that they weren't infected, were they?
Correct, yeah.
In the end, and... what does he give him? Just a tetanus shot?
I said a tetanus shot, yeah. And then you get the reveal, which is the plot point that was completely forgotten about because it happened in the first couple of pages, and then the action was so intense we forgot about Gung Ho trying to get a date with Rock and Roll's sister because that popped back out of nowhere, and it turns out she's actually a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward.
Yeah, but she is in fact a child model.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit weird. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
But, dude, what an issue, man.
Yeah.
That is more of that. it's just got me pumped for everything to come now, because that is a high watermark.
And you probably hadn't read this issue before?
Nope. And I was like, it's in the snow, it's at night, there's a pipeline, which makes me think of There Will Be Blood. I was like, this is just ticking all my boxes.
Yeah.
Just a great. That is just that is the most sort of G.I. Joey issue we've had.
Oh, by far.
They kind of really got all their ducks in line there.
It's establishing a status quo that I am fully on board with. Harmer is now, I don't know if it's the toy company was directing too much, or if he's just said, bollocks to this, I'm going off on my own vision here. But he's clearly got a vision from this issue compared to all the previous ones, and now he's going to run with it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And the art was nice, really nice.
I didn't know if you knew behind the scenes, apart from what you said about the ink. It just felt like there was a change there. Someone must have said, "Look, we got to get some more characters in here."
I don't know who was editing the book. Actually, I can probably look that up. But I don't know if there was an editorial decree that said, "Do this or do that." I'm pretty sure Larry Hama was left to his own devices. So
yeah.
Fair play to him. But yeah, really nice issue all round.
So what issue was that, sorry?
That was number 11, and I'm guessing...
So it's almost been going a year, so yeah.
So what are you gonna give that one?
A solid 8. Absolute solid 8.
A solid 8, yep.
Yeah, I think that's the highest one I've given, isn't it? I don't think I've...
No
one's given
an 8.
No
one's given an 8, and I am also, the first time ever on this show we are in agreement, I am also giving that an 8, and it goes to the top of the list.
I have to say, I was worried that you were going to be a chump on this one.
Really?
And not like it. I was like, if that happened, we were going to have words, because I was like, I couldn't understand what there would be not to like.
But that was a legitimate concern, based on, I guess, what we've previously ranked at polar opposites.
Well, I was like, if he doesn't like this, then he doesn't like G.I. Joe.
Gotcha.
So it's good to be aligned.
I've just had a thought there. You mentioning almost at the end of the first year of comics. I'm thinking maybe if we get time in our busy schedules, we could maybe do a bonus content of maybe a year in review. I'm just talking about a quick 20-minute show where we, rank our. Well, I guess I was going to say the top 3 issues, but we've done that already. But maybe the top 3 characters, or
we can just tag it on to the next podcast. We'll just do a quick first year at the end.
Well, you say that, but the next pod is actually going to cover 4 issues, because it's the first 4-issue arc.
That's nice. Does the arc have does it have a title?
No. So this is. I was thinking that earlier, because I was read a lot of modern comics, and this was back in the day when you'd get multi-part storylines, but as a reader you wouldn't know necessarily when that storyline was going to end, because each issue had a different title, and it wasn't like, I think
they weren't billing it as
this. Exactly.
An arc.
This is just me assuming, but when bookstores started selling a lot more graphic novels in the late 90s, etc., it was good to have dedicated 6-issue arcs or 8-issue arcs or 4-issue arcs to be able to sell in trade paperbacks, because it sells a lot more. So that's when the big Marvel and DC started putting part 1 of 4, part 1 of 6. So as a reader, you knew it was a 6-issue storyline, even if I'm not saying a separately published miniseries. I'm just saying part of the X-Men book or part of the Avengers or part of Justice League. It would say part 1 of 4.
You knew what you were in for.
You knew what you're in for, but
do they do that later in the line with G.I. Joe?
Possibly yes. Not much, but the downside to that for me is, as a reader, if it's a 4-part storyline and it says part 4 of 4, I know that's the end of the storyline. The advantage of this is, I got no idea. Next issue could be the end. There could be 3 issues coming. I kind of like
how they wrote it.
I kind of like that open-endedness. Now, well, yeah, you say that. I mean, the standard Marvel, the Marvel method, if you will, of writing was the writer would give a plot breakdown, plot synopsis to the artist with no script. The artist would then draw it, and then the writer would come back and do script over the top of what the art was.
Wow.
Which wasn't really done, DC or anywhere else. Elsewhere, it would be, the writer would be doing the plot, the synopsis, and also the breakdown of the pages, what the script is on who's saying what for each page, and the artist has to fit his art in around, that.
Yeah.
But Larry Hama famously has said, I don't potentially think it happened early on, but he says he never knows what's going to happen on page 22 till he gets to page 21. So he supposedly writes page by page, depending on what he's written on that page and what he thinks the characters are going to react on the next page. Now, I'll take that with a little pinch of salt, because he must plan the end of the issue, how to cliffhangers and stuff like that. So you've gone ahead a little bit, and we're in for a four story arc. Yes, yeah. I haven't read them.
Exciting.
I was planning on reading. I might even read them today, and then I'll read them again the day before we record the next pod. But it's going to be good. More recurring characters.
I'm guessing. Well, hopefully we're going to get some Destro. I don't know that, but don't spoil it. But who knows?
Yep. We missed out Inside the Mind of Chief. We can tack it on now. We can do it next week. Happy to
hit me. You got to ask me a question as well.
Inside Chief's mind. Ooh.
So this is
dangerous place to be.
This is what really bugs me. Grind
your gears.
You get inside my head here. Each week we'll have a new thing that bugs me. This week is actually self-foul-ups, self-mess-ups, things that I have visibly self-inflicted woes. So I'm a big fan of peanut butter, and
the good stuff, yeah, like the chunky stuff.
Well, yeah,
like the smooth stuff.
I've got my top 5 peanut butters would be in reverse order. Whole Earth Organic Crunchy, £2.50 a jar.
That's what we get.
Pip and Nut Crunchy Maple Syrup, £2.30 a jar, slightly smaller. Skippy Crunchy, £2.25. Lidl McKendy Crunchy, £1.18. And top of the heap is a Sainsbury Basic Crunchy, 70p. I like the oily peanut butter. I don't like it when Sunpat. My mum used to buy it as a kid all the time. For me when I was a kid, very dry, very hard to spread on soft bread. You just munches the bread up. You know what I mean? When you get some on your knife,
you can't spread the crunchy stuff on that.
Not on soft bread. Not Sunpat.
How are you consuming it?
All of these are fairly oily. Crunchy, so they spread fine. I normally have it on just a sandwich or on toast or a crumpet or a muffin, anything. It's one of my favourite food groups.
So what's the problem?
My problem is this. I've gone shopping on Sunday and I've decided the kid eats a lot of peanut butter as well. Not as much as me because she's only 3, but she loves peanut butter on a Saturday and Sunday with a breakfast with Chief Dog Daddy. And I've gone to buy some peanut butter and we go through a lot of jars. So this time I thought I'm just going to have a big ass one. I'm going to buy a big 1 kilogram tub. So I bought that tub, Pip and Nut, 1 kilogram. It's like £9 or something, but
1 kilogram.
Blow the expense. I've gone today. I've not opened it. I've gone today to put it on some toast. Opened it up. I was like, this is a bit thin and runny. It's bloody smooth. I've bloody bought smooth instead of crunchy.
Do they even do the crunchy?
Oh my goodness! I almost want to say I don't want the answer to that to be yes, but then I don't want the answer to be no because I should have been looking. But I'll eat it because I like any type of peanut butter. So I'll eat smooth, but it's no crunchy.
That's going to take you so long to get through, and it's every
£9
time you open it.
£9, 1 kilogram.
You're going to have a grievance there.
Absolutely distraught. I fell to my knees, clutched my head. It was like something out of Platoon. It was.
No, you've stocked up there for the nuclear winter, and
jeepers.
That can happen.
But yeah. And the last little section is
Chief asks Ben a question. Chief asks Ben a question. What'll he do? What'll he say when Chief asks Ben a question?
Love that. What's your question?
Sega Mega Drive or Genesis for you stateside listeners, or Super Nintendo Entertainment System?
Okay,
if you've got to own one. Now go on. You I don't want to.
Well, I was basically saying that. We chopped and changed. I never owned both.
Yes.
Wasn't some spoiled brat. But we did chop and change maybe 4 times.
A calendar year.
In 4 years. I think I had a SNES twice and a Mega Drive twice.
I vividly remember getting a Sega Mega Drive with Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion.
Streets of Rage.
And
Sonic.
Phoning up your brother on the day I bought it and basically having an hour conversation on the phone with him saying this is the most amazing thing ever. And then I brought it over.
It was.
Then you guys got a Mega Drive, and then 6 months later SNES came out or whenever with Street Fighter 2, and we went down to Moordown Video Game Centre and trading back in the old days.
Got our pants pulled right down.
Pants down round the ankles.
It was a lesson in business.
Got like 30 quid.
But we'll give you 30 quid for a brand new Mega Drive and 5 games.
Yeah.
And then you put 100 of your own pounds, and we give you a SNES.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. Maybe we're exaggerating. Maybe, but Anyway, we traded in for the SNES, and then a year later or 6 months later, we'd do. Oh, look at these games that have just come out on the Mega Drive. Shit, we're gonna have to trade in again. Went down. The thought never crossed our mind to get both at the same time.
No, because it felt ridiculous.
It felt wrong.
I like that we were grounded, and even then we knew to have both a SNES and a Mega Drive was a bit douchey.
Yeah, it was too indulgent. It wasn't for us.
It's way too. Yeah, look.
But anyway, break it down for me.
Look. The Mega Drive has loads of games, and it had all the EA sports games.
Yep.
But the thing with Nintendo, and this has always been the case with Nintendo, it has console, like it has exclusive games that you need to buy a SNES for.
Yep.
So you basically needed to buy a SNES to play Mario World, Street Fighter 2, and Mario Kart, and Zelda.
And at a lesser extent...
And Secret of Mana. But
Pilot Wings?
Catalogue, to a much lesser extent. It's a good game.
Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah. Look, it just didn't have the catalogue that the Mega Drive had. There's just so many more games, probably more average games, but the SNES had like world beaters. Like you had to have Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
So we chopped and changed, and I think history's been probably kinder to the SNES because it had those groundbreaking games.
It is a tough decision. It's like choosing between your kids. I mean...
because EA... The thing is, you need a Mega Drive for EA Hockey and John Madden, Star Control,
E-SWAT.
Sonic, E-SWAT. It had a lot of games.
Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage,
Yeah, but see, interesting, because I'm going back and I'm buying those consoles again. So I've bought a Mega Drive.
Yep.
And I haven't bought a SNES yet because there's just not as many games as I'm interested in playing.
But also, resale value, they're pricey, those SNES games, some of them.
Yeah, Nintendo, big time. Like Mario Kart and Mario World are big bucks. So Zelda.
Yeah.
The thing is, they are way more iconic. Those games are in the zeitgeist, whereas Mega Drive doesn't really have that.
No.
Like Zelda, Link to the Past, Mario Kart, they were groundbreaking.
They're eternal, aren't they?
Mega Drive doesn't, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, they are all quality games.
But all it has really is Sonic. Is probably the only, game which, kids of today might have heard of.
Yeah, that's the only IP that has kind of lived on, I would say, is Sonic.
Yeah, but the Mega Drive did have a better pad. The joypad was much better.
Had a better look. It was black. It just looked cool, didn't it?
So are you making a choice, or you've got a veto?
So
if you want to veto and abstain, I'm going to let you because
no. At the moment, I'll just be honest, and I play the Mega Drive all the time with Phoenix, so I don't play the SNES. So I'd say Mega Drive mainly for EA Hockey.
Yes,
NHL. Sorry.
Yeah. If they ever
SNES is amazing.
If they ever worked out a way that you could play EA Hockey 94 online, I think me and you would probably have to quit our jobs.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other day. I'm sure you can do that on a PC with an emulator.
Yeah.
But I'm not really into the emulators and the mini SNES that's come out.
No.
There's something about playing it on a CRT TV with the original pad.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Blowing into the cartridge to get the dust out.
Yeah. I have to do that a lot. It does work.
So the problem I've got is the Mega Drive, the SNES, the Master System, the NES, the GameCube, the Saturn, the Dreamcast,
You got them all.
I've got them all. But the problem is I don't have the CRT TV.
Yeah, get yourself one. They're big bucks, actually.
Yeah.
They go,
Yeah, but I mean, I did buy the SNES Mini. And I played it solidly for about 2 weeks, and I was having a clear out the other day and just found it in the TV cabinet under the TV.
What hasn't it got? There's always glaring errors on those things.
I can't even think off the top of my head.
It's usually down to licensing. Has it got Zelda on it?
No. Has it or not? I don't know. I honestly can't remember. So I'll dig that out and I'll have a look. I
was a big fan of Mario All-Stars when that came out.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah, because it had Mario 3, which has the mini battle game, which we lost a couple of weekends to.
Joking, yeah? A couple of months.
That was insanely good.
It's a single static screen.
If they had that online.
Yeah. Battle game, amazing.
Oh, I love retro gaming. I really do. I really do.
What about G.I. Joe video games?
I listened to a whole podcast on it.
Really?
There was many. So pre-consoles, I had a C64 and I had Action Force.
Yes.
Dude, this is going to bring back memories. And you were in the little green. What was that buggy
The Vamp.
called?
Not the Vamp, the
No,
Striker.
No. Ore Striker. And you had a little radar on it, and then you had the Dragonfly, and then you had to sort of get it into these radar things. Do you remember? And you had to protect it.
So
the buggy was going automatically, and you were in the chopper, and you had to protect it.
Right.
And it basically had to get to this thing, and yeah.
I know you don't. I know you've mentioned that you don't like emulation, but I am literally, as soon as this pod wraps up, I'm going to have to go and see if I can play that online somewhere.
Yeah. Also, but people talk about. People are really nostalgic for the arcade game, which I never saw or played. Where it's sort of 3D. You're like Snake Eyes, and you're just sort of running.
Don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, maybe it might have just come out in the States.
Right.
We might not have got it, but that seems to be what people talk about the most.
Yeah.
Probably like 1989, 1990 circa.
Gotcha.
What about you? I don't remember. There wasn't anything on consoles, was there? Mega Drive.
No,
SNES?
I don't really remember any games. Although, having said that, our theme tune that's from.
That's from that one I just spoke of.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Action Force. God, we've been going an hour. We better wrap it up. What you got going on this week?
This week, not much really. Just work as normal. Potentially going to go to Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park. Take the kid along. Haven't been for a couple of years, so that should be good. Although the missus is always fearful of going into London. She thinks everywhere she goes in London is the threat of a terrorist bombing attack. So getting her to agree...
Mate, you've been reading so much G.I. Joe, you might...
I'll be able to disarm that bomb, come on.
And give a lot of lengthy exposition whilst you're doing it.
You know it, baby. So I think I've convinced the missus to go in. She's a bit of a paranoid, so I've managed to convince her that it's safe to go in. Yeah,
you're well trained.
Yes,
you can protect your family.
You? What's up with you? Did you finish decorating?
Yeah, I finished decorating. That was all good. I've been watching a lot of Christmas films. I've been getting to the cinema. I took the kids to see Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Oh yes, any good?
It's all right. I'm just not as like internet branding just doesn't really pump my nads in the same way as retro gaming does.
Correct.
And they're kind of being nostalgic about the internet, and it's a bit boring. They're referencing eBay and Amazon. It's like, it's just big corporate giants.
Any interest in watching the new Aquaman movie?
No, not at all. Looks garbage.
Okay.
I saw the Avengers trailer.
All right, there's a new one out, is there?
Teaser. It looks good, yeah. What else? I'm going to go and see Into the Spider-Verse on Friday with Phoenix.
Okay, let us know next week what you thought of that.
Yeah, it looks good. Probably going to go and see the new Harry Potter film. I'm watching a lot, man. I've got like a cinema room in my house that I've kind of made myself. Nice. And I do Christmas films at the moment. We're doing all the Harry Potter films. Yeah.
Well, with the kids?
Yeah, with the kids, and then sometimes I sneak in.
Nice.
At night.
Some solo time.
For some solo time, yeah. But all good over here.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yep,
that's
you can...
where can they find us,
Where
Chief?
can they find us? They can find us Talking Joe Comics
everywhere.
On Instagram, Talking_Joe on Twitter. Got some good people on there giving us some retweets and likes and comments and stuff. Keep up the good work.
What about the Facebook?
Facebook, I have started...
You're an admin.
I've started a group, I think. I don't know if I've done it right or not, but you can find us Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast. Just have a...
Well, what's going on in there? Are you in there? Is there people in there?
I think there's 4 people in the group so far.
That's solid. 4?
Yeah, but I need to... I haven't...
Is there a healthy conversation?
I haven't tweeted that. There's no conversation. I haven't tweeted that out yet or anything.
Well, you got to stimulate it. You got to prod the convo.
Yes. But I don't even know if I've set it up correctly as a group or not. So I'm a bit of an amateur there.
Such a dad.
So any help appreciated. If any listeners out there can help us out. I did mention on one of the Insta posts, my apologies, because I was putting links to certain things.
That was amateur hour.
In URLs you cannot copy and paste on Instagram, I've noticed.
Link in the bio, Chief. Link in the bio.
Yes. So also, please rate, subscribe, and review. That helps us up the charts on iTunes. The higher up the charts we get, the more people are going to listen. The more content we can give you. find us on iTunes or your favourite podcast player of choice. If you can't find us on your favourite podcast player of choice, let us know. We'll see what we can do to rectify that. But as always, thank you to everyone who's supported us so far. I'm having an absolute ride here.
Yeah, it's great. I'm absolutely loving it. I cannot wait. Yeah. Cannot wait for the next 4 issues. All right, buddy. All right. Let's call it a day. I'll see you later.
We'll catch you down the line. Bye-bye.